Chapter 1. The Tomato Incident. Every morning at Sunnyhill Retirement Village, the residents followed a sacred routine: tea at 8, a newspaper by 9, and mild gossip by 10. But everything changed the day Walter Jenkins accused Betty Simms of tomato theft. "I swear on my walker," Walter declared, squinting at his suspiciously empty vegetable patch. "She's the only one with basil breath and red sauce stains on her gloves." Betty, age 72, was many things: stubborn, clever, and undefeated bridge champion. But a thief? Unthinkable. "I haven't touched your squishy little tomatoes," she snapped. "They taste like regret and arthritis." The other residents gasped. Walter turned red, tomato red. Ironically, thus began what would forever be known in Sunnyhill as the Great Garden Feud. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Chapter 2. Lines in the Dirt. Walter and Betty had neighboring garden plots in the Sunnyhill Community Garden. Once, they'd even shared compost and gossip. But after the tomato incident, a Cold War began. Walter erected a miniature scarecrow facing Betty's plot. Betty responded by planting a row of garlic near the fence. Soon, they had built tiny, opposing picket fences, his red, hers purple. Mabel from Unit 3B whispered, "It's like Romeo and Juliet, but with root vegetables and grudges." Stanley from 2A offered popcorn during their silent staring matches. By the third week, Walter accused Betty's cucumbers of growing suspiciously close to his lettuce. "Plants don't have a political agenda, Walter," she barked. "Yours do. Blank. Underscore. Blank." Chapter 3. The Secret Plan. After a particularly tense Sunday when Walter accidentally spilled Miracle Grow on Betty's petunias, the manager of Sunnyhill, a cheery woman named Denise, called a meeting. "I don't want to point fingers," she said, pointing at both of them, "but we need to bring some peace back to our garden." She proposed a best garden contest to encourage cooperation. Betty raised an eyebrow. "So we fight with flowers?" "Exactly," Denise said. Walter chuckled. "May the best gardener win." Betty leaned forward. "Oh, I plan to." What no one knew was that both had secret plans to sabotage the other. Sunnyhill was about to get interesting. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Chapter 4. Dirty Tricks and Dirty Knees. Walter began Operation Zucchini Storm. He woke at dawn, secretly pollinated his plants wearing a camouflage poncho, and played classical music to his eggplants. Betty, meanwhile, brewed a homemade fertilizer so potent it made the roses bloom in 3 days, and scared off raccoons. Then came the tricks. Walter left a garden gnome in Betty's path. She tripped, but caught herself and flung it back over the fence with alarming accuracy. Betty placed fake aphids made of raisins on Walter's sunflowers. He spent 3 hours trying to trap them. The garden became a battlefield. Rakes were booby-trapped, seeds mislabeled, and someone replaced Walter's carrots with very realistic orange crayons. Neither would confess. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Chapter 5. The Unexpected Bloom. But something strange happened in the chaos. Walter's overfed zucchinis crept over Betty's fence. Betty's sunflowers leaned into Walter's garden for light. The once divided plots began to merge. One afternoon, a butterfly landed on Betty's shoulder. She was humming, while watering a tomato plant dangerously close to Walter's fence. Walter watched from a distance, pretending to prune his roses. That evening, he left a note on her fence. "Your marigolds are looking less terrible. W." She replied, Your tomatoes no longer taste like despair. B. Progress. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Chapter 6. The Big Day. The best garden contest arrived. Denise walked along the rows with her clipboard, a serious expression on her face. The residents followed, munching cucumber sandwiches. When she reached the plots shared by Betty and Walter, she stopped. Gasps. Their combined garden was magnificent. Sunflowers towered like sentinels. Cherry tomatoes glistened. Cucumbers curved like commas. Bees danced over lavender and daisies. There was even a tiny wooden sign reading, Truce Garden, Est. This morning. Denise blinked. Did you two join forces? Betty cleared her throat. Well, we figured if we're going to argue about vegetables, we might as well grow them together. Walter added. And she makes excellent compost tea. Smells like wet socks. But it works. Denise smiled. Then I think we have our winners. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Chapter 7. Peace and Pickles. The victory photo showed Betty and Walter standing side by side, holding a giant zucchini like a trophy. From then on, they shared everything. Seeds. Tools. Tea breaks. They started a gardening club for new residents. They even co-wrote a newsletter column called The Dirt on Gardening, filled with sassy tips and passive-aggressive reminders not to overwater. Every Wednesday, they'd sit on their bench, sipping lemonade and discussing the day's gossip. I still think you took those tomatoes, Walter teased one afternoon. Betty smiled. And I still think you stole my basil. They clinked mason jars. Because sometimes, all it takes is a little dirt, sunshine, and rivalry to grow something truly beautiful.